There are two schools of thought. You can head out to the theater, let the big screen, the incredible sound system just wash over you, the smell of the popcorn filling the air. Or just cozy up on the couch, grab a remote, and pick a movie for a more private affair. Now, either way, it's fair to say that the state of cinema is alive and well, especially with big money movies coming at us left and right. The Academy Awards just behind us. And if we're talking movies, you know we're talking to this man, Rob Rector, the founder of the Revival House. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Happy to talk
Always
movies.
Wonderful to have you here. So, real quick, Oscars last weekend. Thoughts?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, no big surprises.
Yeah.
You know, everything. I think everyone was justly awarded. You know, it put to rest the Barbenheimer
Right.
zeitgeist, I guess. So, but you know, I think there were a couple that I didn't have in my Oscar pool that won, but they were deserved. So
Yeah.
I think overall it was an expected ceremony. I think there were no big revelations to it, but I think it definitely went to a very good, solid slate of films that were for the picking on there.
There weren't any that won that didn't deserve it.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a nice little bolstering of some of these smaller films that perhaps you didn't get a chance to see when they were in theaters, and now, you get a chance to check them out on a streaming service like you were just talking about.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So let's talk about the blockbuster films just for a second.
Sure.
Rolling at us left and right, coming at us, which is always a good thing. You just saw Dune 2.
I experienced.
You
Dune 2.
experienced. And?
And it is doing extremely well at the box office, and should. And it is one of the large tent poles, as they call them, of this box office season. Really kicking things off into high gear. And Dune in itself, the franchise Dune, has been one that's kind of vacillated back and forth between that streaming and theater. Because when the first one was released in 2021, it went into streaming, and because we were in the middle of a pandemic. So this one was getting ready to be released, and then it got kicked further down the release date schedule because there was a writer's strike, and so it got pushed. So all of us Dune heads were eagerly anticipating, and it lived up to every expectation. It was just as solid as the first one, but a completely different movie, and bring on Dune Messiah, which is the third in the Frank Herbert series.
Oh, he's already onto this.
I'm sorry. Yes, yeah.
So do you think blockbusters like Dune 2 are going to bring people back to the theater and kind of edge them away from streaming a little?
Yeah, it's funny because when the pandemic hit and everyone kind of flocked to streaming by necessity, it created these two different spheres. So we've got our cinema sphere and we've got our streaming sphere, and everyone now, the overall, they did a survey just recently, and overall people prefer watching movies at home now, just marginally. But they still can coexist with one another. I think one of the things is budgetary. I mean, the average superhero film is about $200 million to create, which is a lot, right? Now, take into contrast, talking about the Oscars, one of the Oscar winners for the best visual effects was Godzilla Minus Zero. Godzilla, woohoo, shout out, won its first Oscar. Its budget was $15 million. So it's going to come up to the question of, do we want to see a $250 million movie, or do we want to see maybe $10, $25 million movies, or 25, $10 million movies?
Right.
That budget has to, and it pains me to say it, like, I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan, but the latest installment was almost $300 million for that. And I didn't see it on the screen, and a lot of people didn't either.
Yeah.
So they have some reckoning to do there, and I think they need those two spheres can form like a Venn diagram and benefit one another, but it's going to depend on how they do it. They need to kind of reshape their thinking and learn lessons. 2023 was a big year, and they did rather well, but it was because of anomalies like Barbenheimer, like we were talking about, or the Taylor Swift and Beyonce concert movies that helped bolster that box office. So, you know, are they going to learn lessons from 2023, they meaning the studios, and say, oh, well, we need to greenlight more movies about toys because that's what people like, toys. No. It's not, you know, it's not that, or because we liked Oppenheimer, it's not like we like movies about bombs. No, they're character-driven pieces that spoke to specific audiences, so they need to create content that's going to do the same and learn lessons from that. And maybe, you know, maybe diversify a little bit with the concert movies, or maybe a sporting event or something like that, and create a different environment in the theater.
You see lots of possibilities here.
There are. There was a South by Southwest just had its big gathering last week, and they had a directors forum on there where they talked about the future cinema, and they talked about different pricing tiered structures. So it could be, you know, the VIP versus general admission, or, you know, something like Movie Pass, where you have a subscription-based service like you do in streaming. You know, so it really, I think they just need to kind of look with a little bit of a larger lens than just this, okay, we've got to make the next blockbuster, we've got to make the next blockbuster, and pour all the money directly into that.
I love seeing things through your eyes. It opens things up so much. So, Slower Lower Film Festival, talk to me about that.
Yeah, so speaking of big blockbuster films, Revival House is getting ready to, we just had our call for entries. It's available on our website at therevivalhousetheater.com, and it's open to all local filmmakers, no charge for submitting your film. And on June 2nd at the Milton Theater, we will screen all of our entries, and we'll make it a big celebratory party. So it's a chance to see your work that you've done with your friends or family or whatnot, and see it on the big screen with all of them in attendance. And you know, it's a great opportunity to see all the talent that we have in the area. Here, absolutely. Here.
Rob Rector, as always, thank you for being here. We're out of time. Let me ask you something real quick. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. Anything you're looking forward to coming down the pipe?
So Dune 2 was my big granddaddy that I wanted to see, and you know, there are a few, but there's one that is from oh shoot. I'm blanking on.
I had to put you on.
I know you did.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. But it's Francis Ford Coppola has one that's been in the works for about 25 years that's going to be released this year, and I'm just really curious to see how that plays out on the big screen. Lots of people in it. It's going to be huge, and I'm really interested to see what he does, because you know, I've been enamored by his work in the past. So yeah.
Gary, our producer, just got Megalopolis?
Megalopolis.
That's what it is.
That's exactly the name of it, yes.
Rob Rector, thank you so much.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Wonderful seeing you again.
Thank you.
Stick around. DelmarvaLife will be right back.